just made it to Harstad in Norway here. We're going to Reine tomorrow. Had 2 flights today. I flew into Oslo and then I scrambled over to catch the second flight. And I am so excited to be here. Just flying into Oslo and seeing the mountains with snow and frozen lakes. Oh man, just so exciting to see that. And for now, like my friend Alex from the UK is here. He has a car. Not sure where he is, so trying to find him real quick. And I will say it's -16 real feel, -21, and I'm already feeling my hands. So I'm gonna put this down and update you soon. Proper introductions are in order. Mr. Stanles.
How you doing?
Deja vu, man.
I know.
How's it going, buddy?
It's freaking cold. Get in and close the door.
My hand,
Mine's 20.
I really can't feel my fingertips anymore. I've been outside for 5 minutes. It's ridiculous. This reminds me of Iceland. I keep reminding myself that we're actually not.
I'm pretty sure it's cold
in Iceland.
That's the thing.
We're just gonna check into our first place here of our trip. Right at the airport, convenient, and not too shabby. So just a quick update. Already we can see the aurora in the north over there. So we're gonna hop in the car and we're gonna go try to find a cool place to shoot tonight, see if we can get a shot. Wow, that's really exciting. I've only been in Norway for about 2 hours and we're in a place called Harstad, which is 4.5 hours from Reine, so pretty far away. There's not much out here. We don't know the area, so we decided to just take a little 5-10 minute drive up the street from our hotel, and we found this little, I don't know, closed road that is tree lined, and we can see the aurora just dancing in the back. It started off pretty strong, and then it slightly just got a bit weaker, and I think it's gone for the moment, but really cool. Like I said, 2 hours and we've already seen the northern lights, and we just took a couple shots and it was fun. It's a great way to start the trip off though, isn't it?
Not too bad. 10-minute drive, seeing northern lights.
Yeah. So I think we'll just drive a bit further and see if they come back out again, and if not, that's okay. I wasn't expecting anything tonight, so bonus. Unfortunately, we did not get any worthwhile photos of the aurora on this night, but the trip had just started and the hunt was on. Oh, look who it is.
Not too bad.
No, it's all right. Good morning from northern Norway. Our first morning, really. We are about to make a 4.5 hour drive down to Reine today. So pretty stoked about the ride down there. Hopefully we see some beautiful things along the way. This is Old Faithful, our vehicle for the trip. Alex picked it out himself. Hand-picked, right?
Hand-picked. Beautiful machine.
Will he manage?
Coffee?
Oh. Alex brought us some coffees. Awesome.
Looks like I'm driving then.
Looks like you are driving. Oh, and it's nice and warm on the hand.
Should really have tea though, shouldn't we?
Should have tea, but coffee will do. Alex actually kept me up all night with his Darth Vader breathing and his snoring, so I might have only had about 3 hours of sleep, but he said it's payback for Iceland when I did the same. So what are your thoughts on today, man? Are you excited about the 4.5 hour drive to Reine?
Yeah.
You should be.
It's gonna be good.
Great. Yeah.
It's gonna be good.
Yeah. I guess he's taking the first shift, obviously.
I guess I am. But it's fine, because we've got caffeine.
We have caffeine. We'll
We have
hit
a
some
car.
petrol stations on the way and get some food and snacks. And if we see a supermarket today, what do we need to get?
Dried fish.
Well, that and
Chocolate.
It begins with a B. Beer is what he meant
Oh
to say.
yeah. You mean whiskey?
Yeah, they don't sell that in the supermarket thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we found out last night that you just can't walk into a local shop or a petrol station and buy beer. So, supermarkets. Anyway, cheers. Update you along the way. All right, this is quite epic. So we're driving to Reine, and it was pretty cloudy this morning, and then all of a sudden, it's about 11:30, the light is through, and it is gorgeous. It is absolutely beautiful. We've probably stopped about 20 times in the last 45 minutes. I've had the drone out twice. We had this bridge shot, and the sun just broke out through the clouds in the middle of like this valley, just illuminating the bridge and everything around it. Hopefully I got some good drone footage, and at the moment I have my 70-200 right here, just kind of sniping out the window at the moment, and hopefully at least something decent came out from that. It's just so hard to drive when everything is so beautiful, and as a photographer and videographer, it's nearly impossible to drive by these things. So this 4.5 hours is probably going to be more like 8 hours, really. But I tell you, just look at these views.
Let's go.
So yet another pit stop, probably too many. Again, it's just hard to keep driving when you're surrounded by such beautiful scenery. And we had to pee, so perfect excuse to stop off again. Basically just walking up to like this higher vantage point. The views back there, stunning. You'll see. Actually, you can see now. How is that for some views? Breathtaking, simply breathtaking. So I have my 70-200 with me. I'm just gonna snap a couple shots. It's pretty hard not to get something here. Just point in any direction and you're bound to get at least one shot. Somebody has their drone up. So yeah, we just took a couple shots. As I said, I have the telephoto 70-200 Sony on, and what I love about having a telephoto lens is, the fact that you can get so many compositions from just one location. With the wide angle, you set up and you might get a shot or two, but with this, like, I just took about 10 shots, just slightly moving the camera a little bit, and I probably have a handful of shots from that. It's a very useful tool, especially when you don't have a lot of time and you don't know the location, and especially when you're shooting in a mountainous sort of region. And what's also really nice about the scene, if you can see behind me, is just little bits of light are hitting the peaks, and there's a little bit of cloud on the mountain there as well. Just adds a little bit of interest. So I think I might have a couple shots from there. Back to the car, and we're gonna drive to Reine. We might actually get there today. This was my favorite shot from our quick stop off. This was a handheld vertical pano shot at 200mm f8, 1/250th of a second, and ISO 100. And yes, we finally made it to our destination. The first thoughts were of a snow globe, the ones you shake up around Christmas time. It's hard to imagine that places like this actually exist. So check this out, we just got to Reine today and checked into our hotel for the next 3 nights. We're about to have dinner at this cool little spot. It has like pizzas and such. Anyway, in the car, we were talking about The Big Lebowski and White Russians, and lately I've been hooked on this drink. I just haven't been able to shake it in my head. So, check this out. Yes, indeed, 2 White Russians. Alex, shall we?
Cheers.
Cheers. morning from Reine, Lofoten. We are at our sunrise location for morning one. Wasn't much of a sunrise. We had maybe about 10 minutes of beautiful light on the peaks, and now it's kind of fading behind a cloud wall. If you haven't been able to tell, we are at the iconic location here, so now I can tick that off my list. And I can also say I've never seen so many photographers in one location in my whole entire life. Check this out. It's a lot of photographers, isn't it? Compositions were limited. You know, we didn't have too much time, so we were just kind of running up onto the bridge. My travel tripod is not actually long enough, so I had to kind of get it in between the rails. Again, it was kind of limited shots, so I wasn't really doing anything crazy. It was probably about f11 the whole time, just for a narrow depth of field. And the shutter was just kind of bouncing around, just making sure that my histogram, all the information was in the middle, nothing was clipping. So nothing too special, but you know, we'll see what happens when I get home and I pop it on the computer and do a little bit of editing on Lightroom and Photoshop and such. But all in all, very beautiful location. This whole region is actually, so I'm very excited to be here for the next couple days. Thankfully, we were able to capture a few photos before the light faded. I shot this at 24mm f11, 1/3 shutter speed and ISO 100. I left my ND filters in the car, so I took multiple shots and used stack mean in Photoshop to create a long exposure sort of look for this image. Check out my tutorial on this. Yes.
Good. How's the lorry?
Okay, basically we have all kinds of weather today. Over there it's a bit cloudy, but the sun's coming through. Over here you have a little bit of mood in the clouds. And then over there it's cloudy, but there's some blue sky. So we're just kind of exploring this little village that we're in, figuring out some cool spots since we're here for the next couple nights. And yeah, right now I just found this kind of cool composition. There's snow in the foreground. There's a nice reflection of that mountain just right in front of the camera. So the symmetry is perfect. And then we have that mountain peak, which to me looks really fascinating. So I'm just trying to create a moody sort of scene. I have an ND 6-stop one right now with breakthrough photography. And I've also done some focus stacking, so I've focused at infinity. I've also focused on the reflection itself, as well as the foreground, just to make sure that I do have everything sharp. Matter of fact, as we're speaking, I can see the clouds are kind of shifting away. I can see more of the peak now, so I'm going to take a couple shots real quick. So I took a couple portrait shots of the mountain, and I just tried out a landscape horizontal shot. You can see, so I have it about 26mm, the focal length, which is actually quite nice because to the right I have some boats, and then to the left there's a little village. There's a village underneath the mountain, and we still have that reflection right there. So you can see what we're talking about. The sky's clearing up a bit, so it looks quite nice. My settings, let's see if you can see this. So basically I'm shooting about f8, 2 seconds ISO 100. It seems to be a nice balanced shot in terms of the histogram. I don't think I have to do any focus stacking on this. The subject is far enough from my lens, so it should be all done in one shot. At any rate, I'm just sitting here for a while, just watching the clouds, see what happens, because you never know if you're like that interesting moment's just gonna break through. There's nothing worse than packing up your gear prematurely and, like I said, some light rays or something pops into the scene and you're pulling your hair out. So I'm just gonna sit here for a while and see what happens. I found 0.8 to 1 second to be the best shutter speed for this situation, as there was some light movement in the water. This smoothed the water out enough and kept enough of the detail for the reflection. In an ideal situation, the water would be perfectly still and you would shoot with a fast shutter speed. Situations involving water are always a trial and error sort of thing, so make sure to try different shutter speeds when you're on location. This image was taken at f8, 0.8 seconds and ISO 100.